What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my main event breakdown and prediction for UFC Charlotte. We got Jailton Almeida going against Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another main event prediction this week, breaking down a very fun main event in UFC Charlotte. We have a 5-round fight between Jailton Almeida and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. We have a striker versus grappler matchup here, a fight that is, almost definitely probably going to end inside the distance. And it's a fun fight to talk about, a fun fight to watch, but I don't think it's going to be lasting too long one way or another. Before we get into the breakdown and the prediction, if you guys can please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I will be posting my full card breakdown and prediction video for UFC Charlotte, breaking down all, I think, 13 fights that'll be out on Monday. So I say we get right into it. We'll start with the tail of the tape. We got Jailton Almeida. We'll start with him. He's 31 years old, 6'3" with a 79-inch reach. He is 18-2 and 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Jairzinho Rozenstruik, 35 years old, 6'2" with a 78-inch reach, 13-4 and 2-3 in his last 5 fights. So we'll take a look at the odds before we kick this off. Almeida's a pretty big favorite here. Honestly, I was expecting him to be, an even bigger favorite, to be honest. He opened up minus 310. He's currently minus 550, and then Rozenstruik opened up plus 260. He is currently plus 400. Yeah, lots of hype on Jailton Almeida, and I mean, you can see why. This guy's good. This guy's very good. He started the UFC at light heavyweight. Got a couple wins at light heavyweight, looked good doing so, got a submission win on the second round on the Contender Series, made his debut against Danilo Marques, got a first-round ground-and-pound victory, and then he goes up to heavyweight and fights Parker Porter and wins that fight pretty convincingly, and then he goes and then fights Anton Turkalj, beats him, and then he fights Shamil Abdurakhimov and beats him. So, and he's looked good doing it. His last fight against Shamil was the latest he's been in a fight thus far in the UFC. His cardio looked good, everything looked good. I think this guy's an absolute problem. Jairzinho Rozenstruik's a guy that, on paper, takedown defense is solid, 75%, but when you look throughout his career, he's not really fighting anybody that's trying to take him down outside of Overeem, who was able to take him down twice in that 5-round fight where Overeem was clearly winning the fight up until Rozenstruik landed a big shot with like 5 seconds left. The other time was Junior Albini. Back in the day, Albini took him down a couple times. We'll talk more about that fight. That fight definitely had some sketchy situations in that fight with Junior Albini, where Albini did take down Rozenstruik twice. He got into mount. He almost took his back multiple times. I think he did even take his back. I mean, so that Junior Albini fight was a very bad look. And then, of course, Curtis Blades does take down Jairzinho Rozenstruik 3 times. So, I don't think Rozenstruik does have great takedown defense, and I don't think he's going to be stuffing takedowns here. This is a fight where, no hot take for me. I like Almeida to win this fight. I think it's a really good step up in competition, though. Going from fighting Shamil Abdurakhimov, who at the time was, 40 years old, on his way out. Anton Turkalj, who I'm not even sure is UFC caliber. Parker Porter. Danilo Marques, who's been cut since then. So this is going to be his first true test, I would say, in the UFC. And I think it's a test that he does end up passing here. With that said, though, Rozenstruik, he has a ton of power. I mean, if he wins this fight, it's going to be by knockout. It's going to probably be within the first 30 seconds, honestly. And it was interesting. In the Shamil Abdurakhimov fight, Shamil landed one strike the entire fight. And that one strike landed hard, and Almeida was able to eat it. But if Rozenstruik lands that same one strike, you never know. Maybe Almeida does go down. But what I like about Almeida is he's not going to go out there and test his striking against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. That's not his game. He's a smart fighter. He knows what he's good at. And that's the wrestling. That's the grappling, especially. The ground game is very good. And I think when he does take down Rozenstruik, he's just going to be on another level on the mat. I think that Almeida will be able to get into dominant positions. I think he's going to be able to get into mount. I think he can take the back. And if he does that, I think Rozenstruik's done on the mat. So I like Almeida to get this fight down to the mat within the first 30 seconds, maybe even before. I think he shoots very early here because you don't want to mess around on the feet with a guy like Rozenstruik. He has a ton of power. I like Almeida, and Almeida probably round 1. Could it be knockout? Could it be submission? I think it's definitely one of the two. This fight is not going to decision. I think it's already like minus 900 for the fight to end inside the distance. So give me Jailton Almeida to get it done. I'll say, I don't know, flip a coin. Knockout, TKO. I'll say TKO for Jailton Almeida, but he could sub him as well. We don't have too many odds for this fight, but it looks like a Jailton Almeida inside the distance is going to be something crazy. I'm looking at it right now. So Jailton Almeida inside the distance is currently sitting at minus 300. Minus 300 for an inside the distance prop. That tells you everything you need to know. Like I said, that fight doesn't go to decision, is currently sitting at minus 900 already early in the week, so it's going to be like minus 1,000 something by the time this fight kicks off. I like the under 1.5, but it's super juiced. It's like minus 195, minus 200, best price out there. But I'd be surprised if this fight went over 7.5 minutes. I know that Shamil was able to survive a little bit longer, and that fight did go over in his last fight, but I'd be very surprised if this fight did go that long. I think Jailton Almeida is going to get this done pretty early. I'd be curious to see like where the fight won't start round 2's at, but even that, you're probably laying your juice on it as well. So yeah, probably not many ways to play this fight. If you like Rozenstruik, it's pretty simple. Rozenstruik, sprinkle that first round knockout. I think that's how he wins, but I got to go Jailton Almeida here, and Jailton Almeida to win this fight inside the distance. Not much else to say. I mean, it's a pretty simple fight to break down. Striker versus grappler matchup. What happens first? Does Almeida get the takedown, or does Jairzinho Rozenstruik find the chin? And I just don't think Almeida is going to give him many opportunities at all to get knocked out here. So give me Jailton Almeida. I think he gets it done in the first round. Pretty simple pick there. Like the under 1.5 from a betting perspective as well. But yeah, guys, that's it. I'm going to be breaking down this fight. And like I said, 12 more on a pretty underrated card in UFC Charlotte. We got Johnny Walker, Anthony Smith for the co-main event. Mackenzie Dern, Angela Hill. Got Daniel Rodriguez, Ian Gary. Like, this is a pretty solid card, so definitely looking forward to break it down. Check out the breakdown Monday. Again, leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. To appreciate the support week in and week out. Best of luck for UFC Charlotte. Should be a good fight. Should be a good main event, but I don't think the main event's going to last too long, which is fine. I think it's going to be fun while it lasts. So, talk to you guys later, and see you.